Tenpole, when you parted with the Specials, you cited not wanting to go out on the road as one of your main reasons. Now, what happened between then and the recent tour to change your minds?
Boredom.
Boredom with what?
Feedback, man. Boredom with being in the studio all the time.
Right. But I mean, you actually found a way of getting around some of the things that irritated you about being on the road with the Specials?
I replaced in males with females.
Right. Now, why has that worked better?
Because they don't smash places up. Well, they do if they're butch, but ours aren't butch.
Right. I mean, do you have a distaste for that whole sort of machismo of men on the road, the whole rock and roll touring thing, Limble?
Well, the drug side, yes, because the
Yeah.
male seems to get into a lot of drugs and things like that, which is boring and horrible to me anyway. You know, I think, and I find that with the female band on the road, they're not really into smoking and taking drugs.
Right.
But I find that a lot of male are. You know, I don't know
Yeah.
why, but they are.
Do you find it actually helped the work? I mean, did it actually help the performance of the music?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, how? Just because you were kind of fresher or what?
We felt less aggressive. In the Specials, we felt like we were coming over with false aggression because we all looked stupid. But now we still look stupid, but there are girls to back that up.
What, you mean to compensate for the fact that you
To
look
make
stupid?
us look softer.
Yeah? Right. I mean, why do you think you had to use that false aggression? I mean, where did that pressure come from? I mean, presumably it's your choice as to how you projected yourselves.
It came from skinheads throwing bottles at us.
Yeah, that sounds like very genuine aggression, nothing false about it. But you felt you had to kind of respond. You had to be...
and I didn't feel very aggressive towards anybody, so it was false.
Nevertheless, on this last tour, I mean, I saw you at Hammersmith Palais, and you were making sort of sarcastic comments about this wonderful rock and roll lifestyle. And apparently, at Leeds, you said, thank you to all the girls in the front for making me feel like Simon Le Bon. Now, I mean, I think you also said that you weren't quite as fat, but I mean, why do you go on with it when you make comments like that, which indicate you're pretty disaffected with the whole business?
That's why I go on with it.
Explain that.
It's because I like watching myself on top of the pops. I do, at least.
Limble, do you feel the same about the wonderful world of rock and roll, or do you feel a bit more positive about it?
Well, there's some part of it is quite good, you know. I like touring.
Yeah.
I mean, when we stopped touring, I did quite miss that for a while, you know, but it's like getting the band and getting it right before we go out, you know. So It's like, instead of going back out like we did as a special, we wanted something different. Because I think like every band around, they just sort of, it's 5 males or 6 males, and we wanted to be different. We wanted to have a girl band. So,
Right.
You know,
so you
sure
kind of had the motivation of having something different to take
Yeah.
out. You felt you're offering
Yeah, because
something new.
there's like the challenge of having an all-girl band.
Right.
To start
right.
with.
Was it? I mean, you must have had a lot of problems putting together that band, did you not? I mean, it seems very deliberate. Did you have trouble finding women musicians?
It took about, I think it took about 8 months
Yeah,
to get the band
6
together.
of them.
Right.
Yeah.
And did you just do that kind of informally through contacts, or did you advertise, or what?
We just heard, well, there's like couples in different bands, you know,
Right.
so we just wait
You
until their
approached
bands
them.
are split
Yeah.
up, then we said, do you want to join us? And they come along.
Must have also been quite a big change for you from the sort of musical naivety of your first album.
I don't think it's naive, I just think it's crap.
All right, well, let's call it incompetence, but I mean, between you don't do a lot in sort of formal musical terms. You don't play that much. I mean, how did you manage to make the transition between that and what was a very accomplished, very well-arranged repertoire for the tour?
By getting people in who could play instruments. We can't play a cello or whatever, so we needed people in to play those instruments.
Right.
That's why it sounded quite nice.
You got Talking Head David Byrne to produce the album. Why, in particular?
Because he doesn't wear anoraks with the sleeves cut off,
Right.
like Martin Rushman.
That sounds like a good one. No, it says here, it was rumoured, however, that Byrne did the sessions with a paper bag over his head. Now, where could one of my researchers have got that idea from?
One day we just walked into the studio and he had a sort of E.T. mask on, and it sort of stemmed from that. But he only wore it for about 5 minutes.
Right. You've said that you feel that songwriting is very easy. You've actually said in print that if you wanted to, you could have a hit tomorrow. Now, how can you justify a comment like that?
By having hits like It Ain't What You Do.
Why? Because you feel it's very easy to have a hit?
Well, that was the idea of using Bananarama. It was to say we can have a hit and we're not really that talented.
Right. Do you feel the same about it? Because you actually do play an instrument.
Yeah, I play guitar and bash things about it now and again. Yeah,
But do you feel the same about pop, that it's dead simple?
I think like songwriting, you sort of write about things that really does affect you. And I think that way, then you can have hits because you're writing about yourself, you know, what really affects you.
So it has that strength behind it, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. OK, well, look, we'll get an opportunity to talk a little more about your songwriting later. Linville and Terry, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Eddie, we haven't seen or heard from you for about a year. Could you just tell us what you've been doing?
Well, to cut a long and tedious story short, I'm not working with the old band anymore, but as long as I'm writing the songs and as long as I'm in the group, I am Tenpole Tudor and accept no substitute. And I'm definitely carrying on with punk rock singing and not becoming a television personality.
Right. You have a new single coming out. How would you describe the music?
The Hayrick, it goes, hey, hey, oh yeah, in my clothes, in my hair, hey, hey. It's really good, it's brilliant.
Do you... Thank you. Do you have an image to go with it?
Well, I've never been very good on images, actually. Perhaps Arabella might be able to advise me about, image.
Yeah. Well, it sounds as though it's a bit like a sort of poor man's Arabella Pollen, the image to go with it, sort of poacher rather than gamekeeper chic. You know, is that accurate?
Well, I've tried to mix my private life with the public life. It's basically sort of rural punk rock.
Right. Arabella, do you have any, hints on style to offer Eddie? I mean, you're a specialist in tweeds. What do you make of his kilt?
His kilt? Is that a kilt, Eddie?
It's not actually, it's not a real Scottish, it's an English kilt. It's not a real tongue, so I don't hope we're not offending any of our Scottish friends.
Do you ever wear a kilt?
No.
Hey? No, come on, have you ever worn a kilt?
No, I've never worn a kilt.
No, not even at a christening or something like that.
No.
One of the things that you may not agree with it, but one of the things that the Funboy 3 are known for is having a good image, is dressing right. I mean, do you... No, I'm sorry, Terry, I know you obviously haven't tried very hard this afternoon, but you've got your best boots on. But yeah. Is that deliberate? Was that deliberate? I mean, for instance, when you wore all the sportswear, I mean, that was an image that you'd obviously chosen because you all wore the same stuff. Now, what was the thinking behind that?
I really don't know.
Linville, do you?
I think it was like winter and it was right for the winter. I mean, everybody's wearing it now because it's summer, but I thought it was quite good in the winter.
But all the wrong people are wearing it. Like
what do you mean? I mean, who should be wearing it
so
then?
we've blown it.
Oh, never mind.
Right, but I mean, do you think that fashion is important? I mean, your songs kind of nitpick at a lot of such common social foibles. I mean, do you think that is fashion one of the things that you have a go at?
We don't try to have a go at it, we just try to have a look at it.
Right, but is fashion one of the things that you're critical of? I mean, like your comments about Simon Le Bon, does that include the fact that they dress up in Anthony Price suits? And
no, I don't really look at their suits, I just look at their faces.
Linville? I mean, what do you feel about that kind of music-based fashion? Is that the kind of image that you'd use for the group?
I think, it depends what sort of... If it's summer, then we might wear something that comes out in the winter.
Right, well, just to be perverse.
It's got something to do with our low IQ level.
Well, you like to give that impression, but frankly, I don't believe any of it.
No.
Arabella, do you have any sympathy with that kind of fashion that's led by music and style associated with music?
Well, I think it's very important if you want an image to project that image through your clothes. And I think a lot of people probably buy records just as much because of the image that the group has.
Right,
Just
but
as
is
much
that the kind of fashion that you're interested in yourself?
Not really, no. Not
I mean, you
particularly.
admit it has an influence.
I think it has a major influence. I mean, just as street fashion has a major influence on British fashion.
Right.
And it attracts all sorts of foreign press, which we wouldn't normally get.
Right. Does that actually help you in what you're doing?
I think to some respect, yes. I mean, I think it keeps Britain as the centre of the street fashion world. I mean, we're much better at it than anybody else. And I think it's good that it's recognised.
Right. Charlie, do you feel the need to kind of conform to the traditional image of the sort of stylish young footballer? I mean, you... No, come on, because... No, I mean, to be fair, you used to have a Kevin Keegan perm and you got rid of that. Oh, come on, own up.
No, well, footballers now have got to be, always dress, shirt, tie, not be like said too outrageous.
Right.
They'll probably get
Why
fined by
is
the
that?
manager. Possibly because I've got try to give the good image now, not
Right,
the
try to give them
image.
the game a good name, as it were.
Try and get it right. Not namely the name, the game a good name.
I wish I hadn't started that.
But the club they play for a good name.
Right, right. What do you think about the idea that British men don't have a lot of style? I mean, it's a common... Sorry, Eddie, I wasn't looking at you at that point.
No, I don't think it's I don't feel it's they've not got any style. I feel they're just they've got their own style,
Right.
And I mean, I'd like to be that way, but I just can't be,
Right. I mean, where do you get your ideas for clothes from? I mean, is it just the kind of thing that's worn around the sort of
Yeah, I mean, it's just like
nightlife that you...
mainly like everybody else wears,
Right. Everybody else in Glasgow nightclubs.
In Glasgow, yeah. Probably.
What do you think about that idea of British fashion, the British being without style? Do you think that's true?
Yeah, on the most part. Well, I don't know why Eddie's getting in the neck. He's got more style than anyone here.
Oh, thanks so much.
In a haystack sort of way. No, I think that British people don't really like dressing up. Not really. It's
Sorry?
not. It's the sort of same thing as a stiff upper lip. They don't like to show that they want to sort of put on expensive clothes. They don't like it so much.
Did working with women have any effect on your ideas about style and sort of projecting yourself?
No.
I mean, you haven't taken to dressing up in frocks
to
then?
do with how
Otherwise
we
they'd be
look.
undressed, wouldn't they?
Right, okay. All right, Charlie Nicholas, Tenpole Tudor, Arabella Pollen, Terry Hall, Limble Golding, thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's it for this